Hi, my name is Neil Kendricks, and right now I'm standing in the Oceanside Museum of Art, and I'm so pleased to be able to share this exhibition that I did with Mare, my very good friend who's a great composer. And our show is called Temple of Story. When I think back to the journey of developing this project, it started out as a series of short stories that I was really writing for myself. And it was in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic where all of us were in quarantine. And it was a very fearful time, especially in the early days of the pandemic. And so as a way to kind of heal myself and comfort myself, I started writing these stories. The stories use tropes from science fiction, from fantasy, even horror, or magical realism, and those are simply a disguise to really be able to talk about things like loneliness, things like the search for happiness, things like just the experience of being in quarantine and being fearful of getting sick. And although none of the stories actually use the phrase COVID-19, I make references to, in many of the stories, to some of the things that we have been forced to get used to, like 6 feet of separation, social distancing. A lot of these phrases that are now part of our language, you know, they got introduced to us, you know, through this moment in time.
The shadow stood nearby, watching the dreamer breathing as the first traces of dawn crept and touched the window. Daylight spilled across the floors and touched walls and inched across the mattress. The shadow moved away from the growing wave of ascendant light.
Listening to the stories that were recorded, I got to take the spoken word and edit it to create my own flow of Neil's written words to start from there. And then I started by taking found sounds. I record my home a lot. I live in an old home that creaks and makes odd sounds. So I usually leave a recorder going all night long, almost every night for the past year, just so I can take those sounds, edit them, manipulate them to create my own instruments in a way. And every single one of the stories for this exhibit was started that way, with sounds of my home.
I hope that these stories will last. Hopefully Mike and I will release the recordings as an album. Maybe this will become a book. I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to write these stories for myself. And now they're yours. I get to share them with you.